Hello, my dear students. I am Priyanka Koiri, your science teacher, and the chapter that we are discussing is Human Eye and the Colorful World. Okay. So, in the last class, we discussed about structure of human eye. Okay. There we discussed, or we have seen the various parts of the human eye, like retina, cornea, etc. And then we also discussed about working of human eye, how our eye help us to see objects. Okay. Then we discussed about power of accommodation. So power of accommodation is the ability of the eye lens to focus near and distant objects. Okay. Then we discussed about the defects of vision and their correction. Okay. So we have seen that due to some reasons our eye lens lose this ability of adjustment of its focal length. As a result, defects arise. Okay. So this defects of vision, under that we discuss three defects which are myopia, hypermetropia and presbyopia. And we discussed in detail in the last class that what is myopia and the other defects and how they can be corrected by using suitable lens of proper power. Okay. So this is what we have discussed in the last class. In today's class, we are going to discuss about refraction of light through a glass prism. Okay. So how uh, light is getting reflected through a glass prism. So what is a prism? So let's see a picture of it. So this is how a prism looks like. Okay. So it is a triangular figure which is made up of glass. Okay. So this is a prism. Now we will see how light is refracted through a prism. Okay. So when a ray of light passes through a glass prism, it gets bent twice. Okay. At the air glass interface and glass air interface. If you remember, in chapter 10 we discussed about refraction of light through a rectangular glass slab. Okay. So if you remember that, it is similar to that only. So here, whenever a ray of light passes through a glass prism, it gets bent twice. That means refraction happens twice, one at the air glass interface, okay, and the second one is at the glass air interface. The emergent ray is diverted by an angle to the incident ray. This angle is called angle of deviation. Okay. So from this picture, as you can see that this red line represents the path of the light, where you can see PQ. Okay. Or we can say PE is your incident ray, EF is your refracted ray, and FS is your emergent ray. Now this emergent ray, okay, now this emergent ray is diverted by certain angle. Okay. And that angle is called your angle of deviation. Okay. So it is more like your refraction of light through a glass slab, but here there is one thing that we need to remember, that emergent ray is diverted with a certain angle, that is called your angle of deviation. Clear? Now coming to dispersion of white light by a glass prism. Okay. So what is dispersion? We will study now. Okay. So when a beam of white light is passed through a glass prism, it is split up into a band of 7 colors called spectrum. So what is white light? White light is nothing but our sunlight. Okay. So whenever sunlight is passed through a glass prism, it gets split up. That means it gets divided into a band of color. Okay. A band of 7 colors called spectrum. That band of color is called your spectrum. Now this phenomena of splitting of white light is called dispersion of light. So this total phenomena of where white light is getting splitted into 7 colors, this phenomena is called dispersion of light. Okay. The spectrum of white light has the colors violet, indigo, blue, green, yellow, orange and red. Okay. So there is an acronym to remember this colors, which is your bib gear. Okay. Clear? Now the red light bends the least and the violet light bends the most. Okay. So whenever white light is passed through a glass prism, the red light, okay, bends the least and the violet light bends the most. So the reason for that will be because the red light have larger wavelength than violet, okay. So because of its larger wavelength, it bends least, and as a result this red light is used in danger signals, okay. Now let us understand this dispersion of light with the help of this diagram, okay. So in the left hand side you can see white light is coming, and after refracting through this glass prism, okay, you can see this band of colors, okay. It is always in the sequence of Wibb gear. So this splitting of light is called your dispersion, okay, and this band of colors is your spectrum. I hope it is clear, okay. Now moving on to the next slide, which is recombination of the spectrum of white light produces white light, okay. So it means that the spectrum of white light, that means that band of 7 colors, when we recombine it, it produces white light again. So this experiment was done by Sir Isaac Newton, okay. So when a beam of light is passed through a glass prism, it is split into its component colors. We know that, just now I have told you that whenever this white light is passed through a glass prism, it is split, the light gets split into its component colors, okay. Now when these colors are allowed to fall on an inverted glass prism, it combines to produce white light. That means if we take another prism and we keep the position of that prism inverted, we will find that all these 7 colors combine together to form white light again. Let us understand this diagrammatically, okay. So with the help of the picture, we can see there are 2 prisms, first prism and second prism, okay. So from the first prism, white light is dispersed into its 7 colors, and when we place another second prism in the inverted position, okay, so this 7 colors recombine to form white light again, which can be seen on screen. That means from this experiment we can say that sunlight, that is our white light, is made up of 7 colors. This experiment was done by Sir Isaac Newton, okay, clear. Now this is a beautiful picture of rainbow, and we all are mesmerized by the beauty of rainbow. So have you ever wondered how rainbow formation takes place? Now we are going to understand that, okay. So rainbow is nothing but a spectrum of 7 colors, okay. So how rainbow formation takes place? So most of the time you have seen that rainbow occurs near some waterfall, or whenever there is rain, after rain, okay. So after rain we see rainbow. So what is this relation of rainbow with rain? What is this relation of rainbow with rain? We will study now, okay, clear. Now a rainbow is a natural spectrum, okay, appearing in the sky after a rain shower. So always after rain, this rainbow appears, okay. So and this is a spectrum, that means the band of 7 colors, clear. It is caused by the dispersion of sunlight by water droplets present in the atmosphere. So after rain there is water droplets in the atmosphere, and through this water droplet dispersion of light takes place, and for this reason rainbow formation occurs, okay. The water droplets acts like prism. So the water droplets here acts like prism, and it causes dispersion of light, and for that reason we see the natural spectrum of 7 colors, okay. Now this whenever this sunlight enters the water droplets, okay, they refract, okay, and disperse the sunlight, then reflect it internally, and finally refract it again when it comes out of the raindrops, okay. So what happens, we take the water droplet as a prism, okay. So the light coming from the sun will enter the water droplet, okay. So there it will undergo refraction. So when it refracts, it also disperses the sunlight, and this dispersed sunlight is then reflected, not refracted, reflected internally and finally refracted it again when it comes out of the raindrops. Okay, we will understand this in detail with the help of a diagram also. Okay, don't worry about it. Now, due to dispersion of sunlight and internal reflection by the water droplets, we see the rainbow colors. Now let us try to understand how this rainbow formation occurs. So as you can see from this picture, okay, sun is kept at position A. Okay, now from position A, from to point B, you can see the light of sunlight is entering, okay, into this water droplet, and as it is entering, it is getting refracted. Okay, along with refraction, here dispersion is also occurring inside the raindrop. Now again at point C, you can see the light of rays then reflect. Total internal reflection here occurs, okay, at point C. And after this reflection, the sunlight then again get refracted at point D, and this after point D, it comes out of the raindrop and we see it. So as you can see, there is four things happening here. First refraction, then dispersion, then total internal reflection, and then refraction again. So four important phenomena takes place while during the formation of rainbow. Clear? Now the next one is your atmospheric refraction. Okay, atmospheric refraction is due to the gradual change in the refractive index of the atmosphere. So atmospheric refraction is nothing but the refraction that is taking place in our atmosphere, and in atmosphere we see refraction due to the change in refractive index of the atmosphere. Okay, the refractive index of the atmosphere gradually increases towards the surface of the earth. So we know that the air is dense. Okay, the air is dense near the surface of the earth. Okay, so for that reason the refractive index near the surface of the earth is more. Okay, clear? This is because the hot air above is less dense than the cool air below. So the hot air that is present in the upper part of the atmosphere is less dense than the cool air below. For this reason the refractive index is increases towards the surface of the earth. So for light gradually bend towards the normal. That means whenever a ray of light that is coming from space, it will always bend towards the normal while traveling along the atmosphere. Okay, let us see how it happens. Now this is a different ray of light. If you see this ray of light X, okay, X, okay, so you can see this ray of light is getting so it is bending towards the normal as it is passing along the layers of air, because the density of air is increasing towards the surface of the earth. Okay, I hope it is clear how you can see it is bending this X. Okay, clear? Now there are various phenomena that occurs due to this atmospheric refraction, like twinkling of stars, okay, advanced sunrise and sunset. All these phenomena are caused due to atmospheric refraction, and about all this, like twinkling of stars and advanced sunrise sunset, where all this will be discussed in the next class. Okay, so that so let us try to recall what we have studied. So we discussed about refraction of light through glass prism, how light gets refracted in a glass prism. Then we also discussed about dispersion of white light by a glass prism. Okay, so this phenomena of splitting of white light into its 7 color is called dispersion of light, and glass prism with the help of a glass prism, dispersion of light takes place. And then we also discussed about the refraction of the spectrum of white light produces white light, right? Then we discussed how rainbow formation takes place, and then we discussed about atmospheric refraction. So this is all about today's class. That's all for today's class. I will see you in the next class. Thank you.